Imagine being fully awake while surgeons cut into you. That's what Fanny Burney endured in 1811. She felt every second of it, writing later, "I felt the knife rattling against the breastbone. 200 years ago, you would be awake on that table, feeling every cut." This is the story of the men who killed pain, and what pain did to them in return. Join us as we journey into the uncharted world of pre-anesthetic surgery, where London's fastest knives ruled, and discomfort was a doctor's design. With mysteries to unravel and quizzes to test your wits, see if you can foresee the devastating curse that awaited the pioneers. Robert Liston, the fastest knife in London, wielded speed as his only weapon against agony. In just under 3 minutes, he performed amputations, racing against screams and blood loss. Once, Liston's legendary speed resulted in 3 deaths: the patient, an assistant, and a bystander. But why was speed so crucial to Liston's surgeries? Pain was believed to be inevitable, even beneficial. In the early 1840s, surgery meant enduring excruciating pain with only alcohol or a wooden stick to bite on. This led to desperate measures, like Liston's rapid but risky techniques, which sometimes turned fatal. Despite the horrors, the era's mindset accepted pain, almost revered it as a necessary evil. Liston, though skilled, was trapped by the era's acceptance of suffering. And he wasn't alone. The real enemy wasn't slowness. It was the belief that pain should not be beaten. Pain, they claimed, was a divine gift, necessary for healing, a test of character. But one man dared to disagree. In the 1820s, Henry Hill Hickman quietly tested CO2 to ease animal surgeries. His peers laughed, ignoring his results. Hickman desperately knocked on doors of prestigious medical societies. They slammed them shut, dismissing his findings. In 1800, Humphrey Davy inhaled nitrous oxide, noting its potential. Yet for decades, his suggestion gathered dust. Davy's nitrous oxide was no secret. Parties echoed with laughter as guests inhaled the gas for kicks. The medical community watched these frivolities but never connected the dots to the surgical table. Why not? While pain haunted surgeries, nitrous oxide floated through crowded rooms, ignored by those who needed it most. The answer was floating around, literally at parties. But could a laughing gas craze lead to a medical breakthrough? Quick guess. Is it A, a research lab, B, a traveling gas show, or C, a battlefield hospital? It's B, a traveling gas show. That's really where painless surgery began. Hope you nailed it. Now, back to the story. At lively parties, laughter rang out as nitrous oxide filled the air, a mere sideshow attraction. In December 1844, dentist Horace Wells witnessed a man remain unscathed by pain after a nitrous oxide-fueled accident. Wells, intrigued, tried it himself. He had a tooth pulled, without a wince. A revelation. Convinced of his discovery, Wells proclaimed nitrous oxide as the solution to surgical agony. But he faced skepticism. Nitrous oxide was a party drug, not a medical marvel. Could it truly change medicine? Undeterred, Wells took his case to Boston, home of the sharpest medical minds. Could he convince them? In the heart of Boston, anticipation buzzed. Would Wells' demonstration reveal a new era in surgery? But Wells faced a daunting challenge. Proving an idea born of laughter could redefine surgical history. The stage was set. Would Boston's sharpest minds embrace or reject Wells' revelation? Quick! If you're enjoying this rabbit hole, subscribe. Back to 1846. Horace Wells stood in the crowded Boston lecture hall, determined to prove nitrous oxide's potential to the skeptics. The volunteer, a burly young man, inhaled the gas, then winced and cried out as the scalpel touched his skin. The audience erupted, jeering "Humbug!" at Wells, drowning out any chance of explaining the experiment's success. Later, the patient admitted he felt almost no pain, but the moment for convincing Boston was lost. In the audience sat William Morton, a former apprentice of Wells, watching with intense curiosity. Morton knew Wells's failure wasn't the end. It sparked his own ideas about anesthesia's potential. He'd soon partner with Charles Jackson, a chemistry expert, to refine their approach to pain relief. Boston's medical elite hadn't seen the last of this quest. Another demonstration was already in the works. In that room, his former apprentice was watching and taking notes. Morton stood in the amphitheater, his former apprentice watching closely from the shadows, ready to witness history. On October 16, 1846, Morton unveiled his ether inhaler, a curious glass and metal device. Edward Gilbert Abbott lay on the operating table. Anticipation thick in the air as ether filled his lungs. As the vapor worked its magic, Surgeon John Collins Warren made the incision, steady as the world watched. "Gentlemen, this is no humbug," Warren declared, eyes gleaming with the spark of newfound possibility. The audience erupted, astonished by the pain-free surgery, a feat once deemed impossible. But as applause faded, the question loomed. What would Morton do with this newfound acclaim? Instead of glory, Morton did the one thing medicine would never forgive. Morton patented lithion in 1846, masking ether's secret. The medical world was outraged at patenting compassion, but the secret didn't last. Charles Jackson claimed he advised Morton on ether and wanted credit. Crawford Long had used ether since 1842, but only published years later, entering the dispute late. The patent war was fierce. Morton sued hospitals, Jackson demanded recognition, and Long sought justice. Morton's invention was publicly humiliated. In 1849, the medical community rejected Lethion's patent in disgust. Personal lives suffered. Morton's reputation crumbled, Jackson's mental health declined, and Long faced financial ruin. What drove these men to such extremes? Was it ambition, desperation, or something more sinister? Tragically, the conflict spiraled. In 1868, Morton died suddenly, destitute and embittered. Then the war started killing them, one by one. Quick guess, is it A, fame and fortune, B, died broke, or C, president of Harvard? It's B, he died broke. Hard to believe after what you're about to see. Hope you guessed it. Let's find out why. Horace Wells was the first to fall, spiraling into addiction and despair, ending his life tragically in jail. Then came Morton's turn. After a stroke, he died in 1868, nearly penniless despite his earlier triumphs. Charles Jackson, once confident, found himself committed to an asylum, his mind unraveling under pressure. The three men were consumed by their own quests for recognition and reward, leaving them broken. But what about their quiet peer, Crawford Long? Did the so-called curse reach him too? Long remained relatively unknown during his life, quietly practicing medicine in Georgia, far from the limelight. While the others sought fame, Long focused on his patients, eschewing the acclaim that haunted his peers. Long's unassuming life leaves us wondering, did he escape the tragedy or simply evade attention? And the quiet one? His story, a whisper beneath the roar of his peers' ambitions, may hold the final clue. Crawford Long, the quiet pioneer of anesthesia, continued his medical practice in Georgia without seeking fame or recognition. In 1868, Boston erected the Ether Monument, celebrating the discovery of painless surgery, not its inventors. Crowning this granite spire is a sculpture of a man receiving ether, a testament to pain's conquest. The monument, however, does not name Long, Morton, Wells, or Jackson. Its inscription remains a mystery of omission. As Boston celebrated, Crawford Long quietly continued to serve his community, unrecognized but content. The Ether Monument's real cost was paid in broken reputations and shattered lives, a poignant, silent testimony. Yet, thanks to Ether, surgeries that once echoed with screams now proceed in silence across the world. Next time you count backwards from 10, remember what it cost. The birth of modern surgery was marked by the triumph over pain and the tragedies of its pioneers. Would you have volunteered for Ether Day? If you found this story compelling, hit subscribe and like. Next, we'll dive into the secret world of ancient poisons.